this weekend presents three unique matchups for each rookie quarterback that's starting on their respective team. The big one, the New England Patriots playing at the Chicago Bears. Drake May going against Caleb Williams, 1 versus 3. Broncos at Chiefs. Bo Nix traveling to Kansas City, trying to beat the unbeatable Kansas City Chiefs. Last but not least, the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to play the Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels facing off against his newly revamped Pittsburgh Steelers team led by Russell Wilson. And most of the time, when you look at these rookie matchups or look at these rookie quarterbacks playing in the NFL, there might be one guy in a draft class, maybe one guy every couple of years in a draft class where you're saying, oh, it's must-see TV, right? Trevor Lawrence, for example, when he was drafted by Jacksonville, that was must-see TV, whether you were a Clemson fan, a Jaguars fan, or didn't have any dog in the fight. You wanted to watch that match because it was Trevor Lawrence. He was amazing. Then you had 2019, you had Kyler Murray entering the draft class, and it was, wow, Heisman, speedster. Like, he's awesome. He's the man for Oklahoma. He's the one that gets it done. Must-see TV. But that usually doesn't happen. And rarely does it happen with one player, right? It rarely happens with just one player. But almost never does it ever happen where it's like, I want to watch this rookie quarterback, this one, and this one, like we have this season with Caleb Williams, Drake May, Bo Nix, and Jaden Daniels all lining up. Jaden Daniels is probably a top 4 MVP candidate as we speak right now with 1,900 yards passing, 9 TDs, 2 interceptions, playing with his legs really well, over 2,000 yards total, 7-2 on the Washington Commanders. Bo Nix started off a bit rocky, right? 4 interceptions in 2 games, no touchdowns. Now he's unbeatable, right? This year he's 1,700 yards passing, 8 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Since week 2, he has 1,400 yards passing, 8 TDs, 2 interceptions. He's balling out. Caleb Williams, number 1 pick. He's playing well too. 1,700 yards passing, 9 TDs, 5 interceptions, right? And then last but not least, Drake May, nearly 800 yards passing in 4 games, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, made an incredible, game-tying play against the Tennessee Titans. Probably the second best play we've seen by a rookie, only to the Jaden Daniels Hail Mary. Drake May's play could arguably be better, though, because that was entirely because of him, not because of a malfunction in a defense like Chicago had. Either way, no matter how you want to slice it, this rookie QB class is impeccable. It's the best we've ever seen rookies ever compete. And that raises the question, why is that? Why are these 4 QBs killing it? And also, why was J.J. McCarthy amazing in the preseason? Sam Darnold's awesome this year, but J.J. was on pace to beat him out of the job, which shows you that McCarthy has a lot of hype. And then Michael Penix was on a no-trade list where the Falcons could have used him to leverage a trade to get a possible Max Crosby. So why are these guys untouchable? Mainly, why are they so good at football? And there's one commonality amongst them that many QBs before them never shared. And that commonality is experience, age. For the longest of time, when you looked at NFL quarterbacks and you look at draft classes, the biggest thing that you wanted was, well, we want a guy with some traits, sure, but are they young? Can we mold them? Do they have potential? Can we make them into something that we want them to be? And it never panned out. It never has. Last year, for example, Anthony Richardson had 1 year of starting quarterback film for Florida. And now he's backing up Joe Flacco. Will Levis was a starter for a very mediocre. He was very mediocre for 2 years at Kentucky. Not a ton of film. It was based off of traits. Well, he looks strong, right? And you go back to classes before it. Look at the 2021 draft class. The draft class that was supposed to be full of world beaters, just top dogs after top dogs. Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. Trevor Lawrence is the only one that's firing on all cylinders, signed a huge contract, rightfully so, balling out. But why is he the one balling out? Why is he the one that's successful out of these 5? He played 3 years in college and started all 3 years. Take Trey Lance, for example. He was a 1-year starter at North Dakota State. Zach Wilson had 1 solid season at BYU. Justin Fields was a 2-year starter who is playing okay, but nothing crazy. Point is, a lot of these guys, go back to 2019, Daniel Jones. He played 3 years, sure, but there was no film on him in terms of talent. It was just purely traits. The biggest thing, or the biggest reason why these rookie quarterbacks this season are having so much success compared to years prior is because they have film and they're not based off of traits. They have experience and the film shows that they're good. You go back to years and years and years of everything we've ever seen. When a quarterback was drafted, it was based off of 2 things. Are you young? And do you have some traits that we can play with? But it's never worked out. Anthony Richardson's a backup. Trey Lance is a backup. Zach Wilson's a backup. Mac Jones is a backup. Daniel Jones is a bad quarterback, right? They're all terrible QBs. But when it comes down to why is this class succeeding with Caleb Williams, Drake May, J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, Penix, Jaden Daniels, it's because film showed not elite traits, elite play, and experience. Caleb Williams, a 3-year starter at Southern California and Oklahoma. You take Jaden Daniels. He played 5 years of college football. He started all 5 of those years at Arizona State and at LSU. You take J.J. McCarthy. He was a 2-year starter with greatness. Michael Penix, 6 years in college, a 5-year starter. Bo Nix, a 5-year starter between Auburn and Oregon. It's about experience and what the film shows, not potential and being young. And that's something that we finally have seen, and it's a changing of the guard. Look at this year's draft class. The 2 guys leading the way in terms of the 2025 NFL draft are Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. What do they have in common? Why are they going to be great players in the NFL? They've played years of college football. Shedeur's played 4 years. Cam Ward's played 4 or 5 as a starter between Incarnate World, Washington State, Miami, Shedeur Sanders, Jackson State, and Colorado. And then you watch them. They're not traits. There's talent that's shown on film. Cam Ward's the Heisman contender, and Shedeur Sanders is making Colorado a potential Big 12 conference champion, 6-2, top 20 in the rankings. To be successful in the NFL, to draft a quarterback successfully should never be based off of youth and traits. It should be based off of experience and film that shows success already. And that's why this rookie class is having so much success. Like I said, though, a big slate for these rookies. The biggest one, the New England Patriots playing at the Chicago Bears. And the Bears are in a very meticulous spot right now. Matt Eberflus is looking at the door, and it's probably going to be the door he walks out to leave the building at the end of the season. Earlier this week, DJ Moore was asked if Matt Eberflus still has control of the locker room, and the question was, has Coach Eberflus, has he lost the locker room? And DJ Moore said, I'd like to think no. Thinking. He wants to think no. The answer should be no. He has us 100%. We're fully engaged. That's our guy. But I think I want to say no is not a response you want to hear. But that locker room might be listening at about 50% currently, But if they go out there and they lose to New England, that locker room is as good as gone. And Matt Eberflus is looking for a new job anywhere but Chicago. Because not only would it be their third straight loss, where everybody's bummed out and, wow, we're officially out of the playoff run, but it's more so, it'd be their third straight loss with a quarterback, a rookie quarterback, Caleb Williams, who needs to win one of these 3 games. Because the pressure was, can Caleb succeed as the number 1 pick? Was he the right selection? And I'm not saying he wasn't, because he is. He's a great QB. But if Eberflus can't win this game against New England, who's a bad team, but has the number 3 overall pick, that's a bad look for your organization. Because you lose to the number 2 overall pick, Jaden Daniels. Then you lose to a guy in Kyler Murray, who was a former number 1 pick at Williams' alma mater, Oklahoma. And then you go out there and you lose to number 3 overall pick in Drake May. That's a bad look, and you can't have it. So Eberflus is coaching for his job. I see all these hot seats. Oh, Mike McCarthy's on the hot seat. Brian Dable shouldn't be on the hot seat, but he's on the hot seat. Eberflus, his seat is burning. And he's out of a job if they lose to New England. Like, I don't know why this isn't spoken about more. This is a huge game for him. Because Caleb Williams has all the expectations. But if you go out there and you lose to Jaden Daniels, the number 2 pick in your draft, Drake May, the number 3 overall pick in your draft, and the former number 1 overall pick, Kyler Murray, 3 weeks in a row, what are you doing? And New England doesn't just have the number 3 overall pick when it comes to comparison. They have the worst roster in football. KJ Osborne's the number 1. Kendrick Bourne's the number 2. Like, what's going on here? Come on, let's be real. Chicago, wake up. Big game for Eberflus and the Bears.